Hello. Wait, hello everybody. Thank you all for coming to the 16th annual Woodies Walk in honor of Lorraine Paul. This is something that we do annually, and we've had many guest speakers along the way, and we are fortunate enough this year to have Stephanie Manette. So if we could welcome her on.
Thank you. Hey everyone, thank you for all being here today and having me up here as your guest speaker. When Trista asked me to come up here and speak to you all, I'm not gonna lie, I was really nervous. So if I tend to repeat myself, just bear with me. Regardless of my nerves though, I am extremely happy to be here for this event in memory of Woody and all those who fought and are fighting and may have to fight this one day. For those who don't know me, I was born and raised here in Temiskaming. I'm 42 years old. I was recently diagnosed last January with stage 2B invasive ductal carcinoma, which is one of the many types of breast cancers. Because of this tumor, it had invaded most of my breast. So the only way to remove it all was to remove the whole breast, which is a single full mastectomy, they call it, which I've gotten used to. It's just a scar to me now, and that scar really symbolizes my strength. Sometimes I even get to North Bay, and I'm like, oops, I forgot my boob. So thank God I'm very small, and you don't notice the difference, because it's, I remember to put the wig on, but the boob, it's still getting used to that. So after my mastectomy, I had the surgery, and then things were sent to be tested, and unfortunately I tested one of 2 lymph nodes that were positive. So that changed things a little bit. I needed to do the whole chemotherapy radiation route just to make sure that nothing else spread in the body. I had scans. Thankfully, those came back all good, but still there's little microscopic cells that tend to travel, so they just wanted to really be sure that they got it all. So to start on a positive note, I have recently completed 16 rounds of chemotherapy. Thank you. I have 15 days of radiation coming up in 2 weeks. The type of cancer that I have is hormone fed, so I will be on hormone blockers for 5 to 10 years just to prevent any reoccurrence, but I'm very hopeful. So, yes, this experience has been a big shock in my life. It's life-changing in many ways. I had my ups and my downs. I lost parts of my body, but I do still have my 2 hands, my feet, my eyes, my ears, and all my family, my friends, and everything I love around me. Even though it's been one of the hardest things I've had to go through, I've learned a lot about myself, the importance of having a positive mindset, and living my best life no matter what. Thank you. Sometimes we lose something, but we gain something along the way. I would lose my physical strength each week, but I gained my mental strength, like a superpower that gave me so much energy, allowing me to build back up every time. So I was ready for every infusion after that. So it was like this pattern I got myself used to, and I really truly believe that it helped me. I would lose my memory. They call it chemo brain. I did the most ridiculous things, but I did gain laughter out of it, and some funny stories to tell after. Like I said, I lost my breast, but I gained more time here, probably a long life ahead of me. I lost my hair, but I gained more beauty within. Hair does not define us, and I've realized, how much I've learned about myself, and it's just hair. It's gonna grow back. It's temporary, but it was still hard. I also gained less time in the shower and a quicker ready time. I seem to be always on time now. And well, lucky for my husband, he gained a blonde back, a brunette, and a redhead. So bonus for him. I'm not gonna lie, this part of my journey, like I said, was the hardest part. But it has grown on me and I've gotten used to it. I've lost all my eyelashes, my eyebrows, but I gained lots of experience, magnetic eyelashes, all that stuff. So like, I'm ready to go whenever something comes up, and maybe I'll get used to it. I won't even have to wait for those appointment times, to get my lashes done. It's just like magnets on, okay, bye. And I also have a hair growing competition with my granddaughter. I do have her beat now, though. I have more hair. It's all growing back. I've never been so excited to wake up and have bedhead. Again, losing my hair was extremely hard for me, but honestly, like I said, it's temporary. I've had fun trying different hairstyles. It's always something I wanted to do, never was brave enough to do, and it gave me that opportunity. I've been frustrated at times. I've made it work until I found this human hair wig, which is very close to my natural hair. So it was like having part of myself back again. Not that I don't think the short hair, is not nice or anything. It's just, it's something you can't explain. It's a part of you that you miss, the curling the hair, that routine, and I'm very routine. But even though life changes direction and it takes away those precious things from you or throws you off track, just remember that you always keep moving forward, because there's still good and fun things along the way, and you can just make things fun out of the worst situations, and that's what I chose to do. So when you get to the end also of this journey, it kind of leaves you filled with like more strength, power. You've gained so much knowledge, appreciation, and so much more. So now I want to share a little bit of how I was led here today, and I think it's super important because honestly, if I wouldn't have done my self-examinations myself and just followed my instincts, things would have probably been a different situation for me. I first felt my lump in 2022, and I had my first mammo at 38. I had a biopsy. Everything turned out to be okay, non-cancerous, so nothing to worry about. I would follow up with 2-year mammograms. 4 months later, I was feeling another lump, or maybe it was the same lump, or it was scar tissue from the biopsy. I wasn't too sure. So I went in again and I got it checked. I went for another ultrasound. Everything again was fine. It was just cystic and dense breast. And again, wait for the next mammogram. So with that in mind, I just kind of went on, made sure I still followed the mammograms, but I just couldn't wait till the next mammogram. I still felt it. It still bothered me. I had a gut feeling. So again, I went in 2023. I was feeling changes. I mean, I was feeling it all the time. I just made sure to feel it at night, in the shower, and just be aware of your body and like those changes. So I went to get checked again. So another mammo ultrasound, but this time I saw a breast specialist. It was a little bit different from the first mammogram. The radiologist came in to see me. I was pretty nervous, but all he did was suggest that I go see a breast specialist, and thankfully I had one the very next day. So I said, okay, this is good. It's, last time was just ultrasound, go back home, wait for the next mammogram. This time, breast specialist, okay. So maybe she's gonna remove this cyst. I was convinced too. Like, I wasn't thinking it was cancer at the time. It was kind of annoying to have this in my body. Cysts are normal, so like usually they're not of concern. Anyways, the radiologist recommended I go see the breast specialist. So just right there, it told me there was something that he saw. You know, it's a little bit suspicious. So the very next day, I went to see the specialist. It was like a 10-minute appointment. She just kind of felt the lump. Then she explained to me that I had very dense breasts, probably fibroadenoma, and I'm young. I have no cancer history in my family. So I kind of didn't really fit that whole criteria and maybe statistics. I have no idea, but I just listened to her and I was like, okay, well, I guess this is normal. I'm just gonna like, you know, keep an eye on this lump myself and wait for the next mammogram again. So I wish I would have spoken up then and maybe said like, no, this is really bothering me, take it out. But I'm always the quiet, shy type. Sometimes that's not good. And also you listen to the doctor, so you kind of don't tend to think something's up, right? It's not their fault. They're following criteria. Maybe there's things that they can do differently. But in my case, I just kind of moved past that. Again, time passes on, and this lump grows and grows over the year and a half. It's becoming such a problem that I can't even sleep on that side. I'm swinging the baseball bat and it's squishing against my boob, and it's just really bothering me. It wasn't hurting, but it was becoming a nuisance. I did all that I did, like I did ultrasounds and mammos. I went to see the breast specialist, so in my mind, it wasn't too much of a concern. Until September 2024, I was like, no, like, I just have a bad feeling. This is bothering me. I was constantly like, Mal, feel my lump, and is it bigger? Like, does it feel bad? Sorry, but Mallory was feeling my lump too. But I really, really didn't have a good feeling about this. And, you know, like, I trusted my instincts. I went in to see the doctor again. And, sorry. So she scheduled me right away for another ultrasound when I got there. I didn't get my ultrasound till 4 months, 3 to 4 months later from that time. And then I went and got that done. And this time they sent me straight away for the mammo, then the mammo back to the ultrasound room again where the radiologist was waiting for me. And he performed the ultrasound himself, and he was saying, you know, the feeling of the lump wasn't really matching up with my mammogram. Explained to me, dense breast. It's hard to see that in the images sometimes. In like rare cases sometimes, cancer can hide in that fatty tissue and all that stuff. So he says, is it okay if I perform a biopsy for you today? And I was like, yeah, like go ahead and do that. Like they should have done that maybe 2 years ago when I first went for the ultrasound. So it took 10 minutes, very quick. I'm not gonna lie, it hurt, but I was happy that I did it. It then turned out to be cancer. I do feel like all of that could have maybe been prevented had I knew about more tests, MRIs. If you have dense breasts, like class D especially, ask for an MRI and a biopsy. If ever you're in that situation, you're entitled to that. So I'm sharing this part of my journey because it is sometimes really easy to miss things, brush things off, be misguided. Always follow your gut feeling and get checked if you notice changes in your body. Advocate for yourself and push if you feel it's not enough. Ask what tests are more available. Gain some knowledge on, you know, the medical field and stuff, especially women with dense breast. I'm also happy that they've lowered the age to 40 years old because these days there's more and more women younger than 40 with no breast history. So it's really important that you continue doing those self-breast exams and really, going to get that checked out. Now, dealing with the diagnosis part, I will talk a little bit about that. Yes, it was a huge shock. I made sure to keep moving forward and lean on my family and my friends. I got all the resources I needed. I wrote down my appointments, questions. I organized my binder. I had everything organized, so it was just less stressful. When I first heard those words, Steph, you have breast cancer, the shock sets in fast. You're scared. They're telling you information. You're not really listening. Well, you're listening, but it's not registering. So I highly recommend that you call somebody on the phone right away, have somebody listen on the doctor's appointments with you. I was lucky to have my sister Mallory, who is a nurse and retains information very well, and that was like super helpful. It's not something that you should do alone. After that, your brain spirals and takes you to dark places, not just you, but your family too. So it's important to, not compare yourself to other stories or, we've all lost people, and you just can't really jump to ahead like that. Just try to take one step at a time. That's what I did. I knew I had to get all the information, and then make sure that to tell my family the right information, and to take one step at a time without overthinking things. If I stayed strong, they would stay strong with me. Then you're waiting. Oh my God, the waiting, the scans, all that stuff is probably the worst part of it. It's really hard to go to those dark thoughts really easily. So I stopped that right away. Don't Google things. Don't, you just listen for that information from your doctors. I took control, and I right away, I got all the information I needed. I got, people were reaching out to me that went through it, and, listening to their positive stories was giving me that hope, and it started from there. That's where my positivity really started kind of building up. I know everyone's journey is different, but I became confident that mine was going to be okay, maybe hard, but doable. And I was going to use that positivity to grow my strength and fuel my determination, and it worked so far. During that waiting period, it's good to distract yourselves with the people you love, doing the activities you love, and just try to still live life without, getting down and thinking of all that bad stuff. And it's just really nice the distraction was the best thing I could have done for myself. And watching my support system grow, and they were there through it all. They've helped me physically, mentally, financially, fundraisers. They just lifted such a huge burden off for me. And, this is really important for cancer patients and people going through this. It's hard to get lost, and support is super important. Over time, I did grow my understanding, the knowledge, and I joined positive groups on Facebook. But with that, you have to really be careful that you know your stuff. Don't just jump into those groups. There's scary stuff that are posted by people going through hard times, posting pictures, and it's scary stuff. So try to find more positive stuff, and just remember that their story is not your story. So you just kind of have to do you and focus on you and not compare yourself. I chose to really grasp onto all those positive stories, and people reaching out to me, like I said. And also media platforms, TikTok, all that stuff. Yes, it's good. It's a great way to post your positivity. It's also a bad way to see the negative stuff. So as much as we feel bad, and it is hard to see people going through those hard times, and you start kind of oh my God, am I going to go through that too? But like I said, everyone's different. Try not to hold on to the negative stuff that you see out there. I found positive cancer survivors on YouTube, and that was awesome. They helped me so much, and their positivity. I learned what they went through, what they've survived, what they recommended. It all influenced me to do the same. And I know a lot of you have seen me make posts on Facebook, so like that was my mission too, is I seen these women do that and I was gonna do the same. Post that positivity, inspire others, and just kind of keep going from that. Hold on. So also all the comments and everything, that really inspired me to keep going, and it was overwhelming, and it brought me like a sense of comfort and accomplishment by sharing my story with you all through like Facebook and all the other media platforms. I have to say I've learned so much about my body, the functions, and wow, our bodies are amazing. So everyone should take care of their body and how they deal with it, whether it's mentally, physically. Try to think positively, healthy habits, setting goals, and doing what you love. During all this, I still followed my regular exercise, meditation. I binge watched so many stories. I must have watched a lot of TV. I still ate my favorite snacks. Most importantly, hanging out with family, friends, planning parties like a Tata party. I don't know if you know what that is, but I casted my breast. Everybody signed it, and it was, you know, lots of love, laughter. I saw my support grow, and that was a huge part of my journey that really kept me going. All my coworkers, it was overwhelming, and without all of them, I wouldn't have gotten this far, I'm sure. So if you don't have a lot of people in your circle, I suggest, you know, reach out even to organizations. There's wonderful organizations around us, the Cancer Society, Mission Tournesol, you know, Quebec Wellness Center. There's just so much. So reach out and ask people for help. You don't do it alone. During this whole time, I still did what I wanted. I did, you know, be careful not to go in high populated areas. I used face masks when I went into the pharmacies, hospitals, and all that. I ordered stuff that would help me. So I strongly suggest, if anyone goes through this, face masks, baths, circulation plate. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but one of the best things I've bought. 10 minutes a day, it just gets everything going in your body, and I believe that really helped. And a red light therapy lamp, that too. I took the hard times and I turned them into moments of empowerment. For example, my head, going back to my hair. Like I said, it was the hardest thing I had to go through. So I was prepared to like do this party and, you know, like do it with my friends, my family. Everyone was gonna cut a piece of hair. Like you see these videos and it's just like so like, looks fun, heartwarming, and makes the worst situation to such a great situation. Not a great situation, but I mean better, that you're not doing it alone. But I didn't have time for that. I woke up one day and my head was hurting, clumps were coming out, hair was all over the place, and I was like, no, it's time, this is time. So here it goes, and I called my sisters up, and I told myself, I'm gonna go to bed, I'm gonna get some rest, because it's been a long day. I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna put makeup on, I'm gonna get dressed, and we're gonna do this. So I gave myself my very first haircut. And then I went shorter and shorter and shorter. And I thought it was gonna be the worst experience, it turned out to be pretty funny. We have funny stories to tell. So now going on to treatments that took my hair. Once this chapter was done, the whole diagnosis, the waiting part, once you have a plan in play, it does get better from there. Everything is absorbed, it falls into place. It's like when you go on a trip and you have an itinerary and you follow that plan, it's less stressful. You know, like at the beginning, when everything is not planned, it's just really chaotic. So once you're past that step, it gets easier. It did for me, and I hope it does for you too. So I was very happy I followed this plan. It was hard, not as hard as I thought it was going to be, because based of what I saw on media, movies, that gets to your head. It wasn't all like that at all for me. And again, everyone's different. But the perfect example, like I said, everyone's different and you can't rely on that. You can only prepare. I trained my body to fight using every positivity in my bone, following a stable routine, which consisted of exercise, again, in moderation, eating healthy, drinking a lot of water. I always rested when needed, but going outside, getting dressed, and getting out there was really important for me. It almost fueled me up and got me ready for the next week after that. If I would have stayed in bed and, just stayed in my pajamas, and, like that doesn't work for me. And I would just make sure I did rest a lot of the time, but I would get dressed, go for the smallest walks, listen to my music, and it really, really boosted me. Once I got dressed, it was like, okay, I can do this. And then, I don't know, I just gave me that energy, even despite of, I just had chemo the day before. I, continued to attend activities. So when you go through something like this, it doesn't mean you have to be tied down at home and, it'd be awful. Take control, you do you, and you do the things you love, and you'll see you might have a different outcome than, staying in your pajamas all day. I know when I'm sick, if you stay in your pajamas, you still feel sick, all day, but the minute you get dressed, it just kind of you kind of forget about, I don't feel sick anymore. I know, again, not everybody's bodies are different, and it was like this for me, and I just hope that everybody can get through what they're going through. I'm just sharing this information because I feel it helped me. I'm not gonna lie, it's not all been easy. If you're wondering what chemo looked like on those days, honestly, again, it's not like what they make it look like on the movies. Maybe for some it is, I don't know. But for me, it was always blood tests every single Monday, which was super annoying, but it was only 1 hour of my day. And then that night before, I was fueling up and I was drinking lots of water. I got my rest. I did exercises, and then I would go for my chemo the next day. So when you get there, it was literally, they would access my portacath, give me the Benadryl, then by that time, Benadryl, it makes you sleepy. So I was not sleeping, watching episodes. Before you knew it, you were back on the road, going back home. Me and Mal would stop at the gas station, pick up my cheese and my grapes and my slushie every time. And then I head home, rested, and back again the next day. You just listen to your body, follow your body. This routine still also has lots of room for everyday life and activities. If you're going through chemo, don't let it hold you down. Keep doing what you're doing. If I could compare it, it actually was kind of being similar to being pregnant. I know we all know what that feels like, maybe not the men, but it kind of was the same. I had to stay away from raw stuff. You're tired, and then it's just a lot of similarities. And now with that all I'm doing great. With that out of the way, I have radiation next. I'm anxious to get this final step out of the way. Will be a little bit of scanxiety, they call it, but I will remain positive and appreciate every day. Always blessed, because I feel there are still worse things that are happening out there. And I feel for all the people that experience terrible things. There's not just cancer, but other terrible things. And, for me, that's some of the worst things. I know a little girl who's fighting leukemia right now. She's 4 years old, and just her parents, all that whole situation, it's very sad. Anyways, so I'm not going to worry about those things that might not never happen. So I'm not going to worry about what's next for me. I'm only going to live every day as it is and, keep being me. All those who have lost or seen their family and friends go through this, or you may in the future, but remember, having a positive mindset is very, very helpful. I know it's hard, but you can't let cancer take that away from you. I know everybody's different, some more aggressive than others, different situations, mentally, spiritually, physically, all that. Might not have a big circle, but I hope that they can find the strength to push through while still enjoying all those little moments and pleasures that life still gives. Support is super important to have, like I mentioned earlier. So grow that circle. It's not something you should do alone. It puts stress and changes things in your life, whether it's work, relationships, finance. We're lucky to be from this small community. They will have your back. I know that for sure. The team of oncology and chemo nurses up north have been amazing. And if you're going through this or know someone, they're in good hands. Now just as I get closer to the end, I just want to give a little bit of advice. So even if you don't have cancer or other health problems, you might want to take control of your health. Maybe start making healthier habits, decisions too, if you can, because I truly believe it's what helped me. Before this all started, I was an active person. I did, eat well enough. I still had fast food and all that junk, whatever. But I mean, it's always good to start maybe being a little bit more healthier and just to be prepared. I'm not saying to quit everything. Just really take care of yourself. Take care, be aware, and prepare, I like to say. Let your fear be replaced with hope and positivity instead. I have not yet dealt with the aftermath of being done all of this, but I could imagine it is going to come with some form of worry, obviously. What if the cancer comes back? But I know with my positivity and outlook on life, I will not stress too much about it, because I know something that's not there and not present yet, I'm not going to let that something bother me like that when it's not even there yet. When it comes, if it does, I will be 100% ready to do it again. Be proud and acknowledge, like every one of you, everyone has strength in them, positivity, let it out. I'm incredibly proud of myself and how I've handled this, and it's left me feeling pretty badass. Pardon my language, but it's how I feel. I've always been tough and stubborn, but this is a whole new level of strength I'm feeling. I'm proud of everyone else who must face cancer, who are, you're stronger than you even know it. I really didn't think I would be this strong, but yeah, like I said, I'm feeling pretty badass. Sorry. So for all of you, just keep up that fight. You're never alone. I thank you very, very much for listening to my story, my positivity, and my advice. Now we can, take this time and remember those we've lost. Take this time to walk in memory of those we lost, who are still fighting, who have survived, or may even not even know it yet, but might have to face this one day. And I hope they can use these words of encouragement and advice and, take that with them. Thinking of everybody out there. Miigwech, thank you and merci. Thank you. Oh, it's hot in here. I wanted to show you all too. I was like, I don't know if I'll be brave enough, but yes, I think I am. But just when you get wigs, and if anyone are curious about wigs and think, oh my God, that's so hard, it's super, super easy once you find the right one. So I will show you a demonstration. So there it is. And back on. And just a little bit of adjustment and Thank you for having me.
You did it.
Thank you so much. That
And I didn't cry. Is my wig crooked?
Beautiful work and inspiring. So from here, I invite all of you to join us down at the ball field where we have copious amounts of luminaries set up for those who are currently fighting, who are in our memories and thoughts and prayers. So they're all down at the field. There are refreshments and snacks as well down there. So thank you all for coming.